it was June 23rd, a whole crew of us got on Lucid's bus and headed over to Pine Ridge for the purpose of cleaning up the powwow grounds, the park, and the playground at the request of one of the Lakota elders. We had 23 folks on the bus, 3 dogs, and we loaded up the bus when we were all done with 35 big black plastic garbage bags full of trash and hauled that to the dump.
Our delegation of Rainbow people that came down to the res, they were surprised by all the support that they received from the people in town on the reservation. And we managed to, the Rainbow people were excited for the opportunity to help clean up the trash at the park, in the skate park, and the powwow grounds on Pine Ridge Reservation in Pine Ridge Town. And we've even been able to pump some money and some income into Rosebud Reservation's grocery store, because the Rainbow Nation do not like supporting corporations. They want to support indigenous local businesses. And really, that was really cleared up because we came and we wanted to know how exactly this would benefit indigenous communities. And there was a little bit of vague misunderstanding. It was first brought up, well, you know, we can find indigenous local businesses here in the Black Hills, but the Black Hills, we clarified to everyone that it's owned by all white local business owners, and there's a big cloud of supremacy and social white privilege here, and as indigenous people, we don't even feel welcome in the Black Hills. And you know, so that they understood. They started to really understand and everything. So they really started to put forth a lot of effort to build relationships on the reservation by helping pick up trash, by getting groceries and produce, and almost wiping out that supermarket in Rosebud Reservation of all its garlic and cabbage and tomatoes, everything. You know, they're surprised. You know, wow, like four shopping carts full of food, and you know, and we cleaned out their produce, and that really helped them. I know the people wouldn't have bought that produce that fast. You know, we helped them out. And all it had to do was with communication and building relationships and alliance with the Rainbow people, who are much more receptive than, you know, the common white society. That the rainbow has no color; it's all colors. You know, all backgrounds of indigenous roots. You know, and we understand they wanted to gather at a spiritual place, and traditionally, you know, that's where the Black Hills were. You know, all indigenous people were able to come and gather for a spiritual, you know, for spiritual gatherings. And, you know, and I mean, it all came together really beautifully.
26th of June, we took a whole school bus load of folks to go to support Leonard Peltier. It was the 40th anniversary of his being put in prison. We were welcomed at the Leonard Peltier rally by several of the elders, including Chase Iron Eyes and Leonard's son and his brother.
So my name is Chase Iron Eyes. I'm a Lakota citizen, and I penned an article that called for an alliance between the Rainbow family and the Lakota Nation. I'm currently trying to gather other leaders, other Itancha, other traditional leaders, and other IRA elected leaders, tribal council leaders. There should be a statement that comes out. There should be a position that's made, instead of you know, any one person or any rogue Lakota person who's making threats at Rainbow family and who's really reflecting negatively on the whole of the Lakota Nation. And so I personally support an alliance between the Rainbow family, and the Lakota Nation, because we are about the same things. We are about decolonizing our minds and connecting ourselves directly to our food sources. You know, there should be no corporate walls between the food we eat, the medicines we take. We are about self-sufficiency. We are about respecting and living off the land. These are things that we share in common. So in my mind, the Lakota Nation should welcome the Rainbow family, and they should welcome that sort of aspect in the human family alive today. But I know there are negative things that happen and that have happened, just like there are negative things that happen with us at powwows or what have you. My sole aim is the return of the federal lands in the Black Hills. In order to do that, we need to assert ownership over it, because the United States, under their laws, they contend that all we deserve is money, you know, $1.3 billion. Well, we don't want that. We'll never take that. That's blood money. We have a mantra that the Black Hills are not for sale. And so I see a potential alliance between the Rainbow family and the Lakota Nation that could lead to an actual presence there. A peaceful, direct, unrelenting presence that results in the transfer of those lands into tribal nations' hands. That's what I see, and that's why I take the positions that I take, because I see the big picture. I'm willing to let these things go. There's a lot of complaints about appropriations, appropriating native ceremonies and this kind of thing. I don't know what I'm to say about that. What are human beings alive here supposed to do? How do descendants of immigrants here that came to this continent, our continent, 300 years ago, how do they connect to this continent? How do they connect to our sacred sites, to our sacred places? There has to be room for growth in the human family. Even Lakota people moved around, indigenous peoples moved all over and created new relationships with different sacred sites in territories that they weren't necessarily in 1,000 years ago or 100 years ago. So we have to leave room to evolve. This is just what I feel personally, and I'm trying to organize a cogent position that comes from respected leadership within the Lakota Nation. This should happen. We should support the Rainbow family. We are all trying to liberate ourselves in different ways. I have no right as another human being to judge what somebody else does to pray. I don't, and I'll never judge them. But we're each trying to liberate spiritually and economically. And when I say economically, I don't mean I want wads of cash. I mean I want a direct relationship with my food source. Farm to table, ranch to table, or you're farming in your own food. I want a hemp economy, a truly, if the powers that be can't institute a true cost economy, then where the subsidies that the corporate welfare that subsidizes coal and oil and the whole carbon economy, then they should support a transition to a hemp economy. Because hemp can do the things that oil can do, petroleum and what have you. And tribal nations should do that. Tribal nations are legally and economically oppressed in 2015. We're always the poorest and shittiest people, materially speaking. Our quality of life indicators are always horrendous. We have the most suicides, we drink the most alcohol, we take the most drugs, we get in the most car wrecks. We go to prison at extremely high rates, yet enlist in the United States military at about those same rates. I just feel that it's time for indigenous people, or the original nations of this continent, to step up. Instead of smashing and creating division, we should be creating alliances and building bridges. The world is a small place now. Through technology and just through communicating and being open-minded, we can reach the right allies. We all love this land, and we should all protect it.
We only have one mother, and that's Mother Earth. We need to protect her. Get weary now. So really stood strong. Our tribe has made a strong stand on opposing the Sexal pipeline and the uranium mining. So I more or less going to invite myself to go home to the sacred Black Hills and visit with some of your rainbow people and possibly give you information on Leonard and other issues, especially Leonard, you know, and see what we can do as a people to help with Leonard's freedom in 2 years. So I'm going to be coming up.
I'm writing my honors thesis on the Rainbow Gathering, and so I had read pretty much every book that there was out there to read, or so I thought. I've since found a few more, and I'd settled on the Rainbow Gathering as the thing that was going to change the world, because it's direct action. As the indigenous people were saying, you got to build the culture on the ground first, and that's what we're doing.
Can you talk about that council that you were in that Chase Iron Eyes came up to, that brother had called about being an objection to the gathering in the Black Hills, and then Chase Iron Eyes and the tribal council came in?
Yeah, I felt like I was in the right place at the right time, because I got to speak right before they all arrived, and I expressed my heart song of heartbreak and disappointment that there was so much shouting. Not that people were disagreeing, but that, you know, people were standing up and coming to blows almost over this, and Red Dog and I both sobbed, and then exactly what we were asking for, the people to talk to us on the ground walked up and said, hey, this is our intention, and we like what we see and want to be part of it if these concerns are addressed. And I mean, it felt like I was in history, like history in the making, and I'm very blessed to have seen that. And it definitely, any doubt that I had at that moment about what it meant to be rainbow basically evaporated, because as soon as that possibility was presented, that's what we latched onto, and that's powerful stuff.
There's not complete animosity towards the Rainbow family from the Lakota Nation. We had a meeting with the Leonard Peltier Commemoration Committee, and they support a Rainbow Lakota Alliance for the purpose of returning the Black Hills to the Lakota Nation. Aho!
Here.
Right? And we have support from the American Indian Movement, grassroots. Nobody knows how Lakota kind of leadership and culture operates. So when they see these things on the internet, they think that those guys speak for all of Lakota people. And the reality is that they don't. Even I don't. You know, nobody here does. But we figured that, I figured that unless we address this, and I'm calling on other treaty leaders to join me, that Leonard Peltier, I don't know if any of you know who Leonard Peltier is. I'm sure there are other rainbows who you consider political prisoners in that nature. But we don't want the legacy of your coming here. You came here for a purpose. And we might not know what that purpose is yet, but we don't want that legacy to be tarnished primarily by the negative energy that's proliferating around this digital reality, which I'll admit that it's coming to that. You know, the cloud infrastructure is here. Drones are here, not here at this gathering, but here as a concept. And creating this other reality really puts your original spiritual makeup intact, at risk. You know, we are at risk, our children are at risk from being subsumed by a digital reality. And so I just mention those things because I feel that the rainbows we have more in common than we have differences. Now, we're not holding hands yet. You know, we have legitimate concerns, and that's why we wanted to come here to talk to you about those things, but in a serious and open manner. So I'm gonna be quiet for now, and I'll pass the. When you're here, you're in a holy place. This place breathes differently. So whether or not you follow a pagan way, a Celtic way, a Saracen way, a Wiccan way, the way of Jesus Christ, I believe that we're all seeking and we're all part of the same consciousness. You just have to transcend the prison of your culture, and of your language, and of your phenotype. What you see right here. That's truly what I'm about. Now, I realize that there's other sects of the rainbow, just like there's other sects of Lakota culture. Sometimes there are bad apples. Sometimes there are these things that happen that set us back. But I'm telling you right now that we represent a lot of people. There's only 4 people here, 4 men here, 5 men, but they all have families and we all have networks, a huge network. We operate the Last Real Indians media network. I don't know if you've heard of it or seen it, but we reach 500,000 to 1 million people a week. And unless we came here today, this negative, almost a psychological operation, military style, that's going on online right now, that would be the legacy of your coming here this summer. And even though there wasn't a 100% consensus for all rainbows to come here, whoever was supposed to be here ended up here. And we will need your help one day. So I'm asking you, I tell you these things, I tell you the name of our online media presence. My name is Chase Iron Eyes. I tell you these things so you can find us. And when we call, we do want the Black Hills back. We want the federal lands. The Forest Service should just turn those over to us. All these parking tickets they're trying to give us, if they give us any, the money should come to us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've totally brainwashed our people. And we want all federal and state lands here returned to us. And the perfect ally is the Rainbow family. You guys know the practical reality of what it takes to live here. Like we used to live here. Like we want to live here. But we're also cognizant of the reality that is out there. The straw man, the matrix, however you want to put it. There is a spiritual war going on right now. And out there, it touches us. Every aspect of us, it subsumes us. We've got to trade our labor for a currency. It's a system. They're very, very clever. In our way, it's called Iktomi. It's a trickster. But they've developed this system a long time ago, man. They perfected this system. They made modern-day slaves out of us. And I know that you guys are trying to break through that. And so, yeah, that's right. You broke through, like this gentleman here. That's sovereignty. That's a spiritual sovereignty. I don't have a right, and I should be promoting your right to create that relationship here on this continent. After 200 to 300 years here, Americans should wake up. That we should all respect this land. We should all create a relationship with it. So we will need help defending our clean water for my son and our kids here and your kids as well. These little guys running around here. We want control of the federal parts of the Black Hills. Personally, I don't want to disturb the private property owners here because the machine is big and the machine is powerful. And I've got to contend with that machine. We have all aspects of society within our own people. So I just want us to be able to provide for ourselves. We've been living in poverty, obscene poverty for 100 years, killing ourselves, hanging ourselves, drinking, alcohol, using any kind of drug we can get our hands on, killing each other. We're 33% of the prison population here in South Dakota. We're 54% of Pennington County Jail in Rapid City. We've got a lot of healing, a lot of decolonizing to do, and I just wanted to come here because I want allies. When it comes time to come here to occupy the Black Hills, I want you here with us. Regardless of all this other nonsense that's being spit out there. Just wait and pay attention. Remember our names here. And we'll always come to you with open hearts and open minds. I can give you our word on that. We represent ourselves here, just like every one of you can represent yourself. Thank you.
Radiating love from me to you, to you, to you. To you. I've got to let the light shine through, because this little light of mine, oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine, yeah, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine can shine. We all can shine. La 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 la, la 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 la, shine through, shine through. Let the love shine through, radiating love from me to you, to you, to you, to you. We've got to let the love shine through, because this little light of ours can burn for a good cause. Yeah, this little light of ours can burn for a good cause. Yeah, this little light of ours can burn for a good cause. Yeah, this little light of ours can burn, we all can burn. Turn on the love light, keep it on. I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Turn on the love light, keep it on. I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Turn on the love light, yeah, keep it on. I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Turn on the love light, keep it on. 1, 2, 3, and la 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 la, la 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 la, shine through, shine through. Let the love shine through, shine through, radiating love from me to you, to you, to you, to you. We've got to let the love shine through.